Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and this video is brought to you by the online Bballbreakdown membership. Click the first link in the description below to learn more and join.
Good.
And in English, there's a saying, it says, once you hit rock bottom, the only way is up. But rock bottom just seems to keep getting more and more rock bottom for me. And so, free agency has been tough. Because I feel like, in some ways, the NBA has kind of given up on me.
So, what happened to Jeremy Lin? I imagine we all remember the fireworks in New York back in 2012. They called it Linsanity, and that's exactly what it was. Never before had we seen a player step into a starting role so quickly and have that kind of sustained success over 25 games. How did he go from the top of the NBA in New York to basically out of the league 7 years later? Let's look at the circumstances with the Knicks that led to his incredible success. It was a strike-shortened season, and Mike D'Antoni was at the helm, but the Knicks couldn't put enough good stretches together to win a lot of games. It was a struggle to run his vaunted offense with Carmelo Anthony in the lineup, since the quick ball movement and wide spacing is the key to making it run, and Anthony was simply not the right fit with his mid-range isolation game in full effect. As a result, their record was 8-15, nobody was having any fun, they were struggling against a bad Nets team, so D'Antoni threw up his arms and sent Lin in to see if that would do anything. Early in the second, a simple spread pick and roll enabled Lin to find the nice bounce pass to Jared Jeffries when the weak side didn't bump down the roll man. Suddenly, the offense sprang to life. Lin was aggressive going to the basket, and particularly good at rejecting quick ball screens when defenders back then used to hedge instead of drop. Here's D'Antoni's 21 series, and even though it took an extra beat for the inside ball screen to come, he rejects this one and gets under the hoop before finding Amari Stoudemire for the finish at the rim. You can see the frenetic pace the Knicks wanted to play at, enabling lots of space for Lin to get into the open court, read the defense, then find the easy open pass to Chandler for another flush. Lin has always been able to shoot a high percentage in the lane despite not being very tall. He knew how to get into the body of the defender before leaning back for a few inches of space to release the shot. Again, the 21 series with the inside ball screen is rejected, and he quickly gets the layup before the help can react. And it wasn't like he had to start with the ball in his hands. After coming off the double staggered screen, the quick ball screen gets Tyson Chandler at the rim for a perfect lob from Lin. The biggest key in New York was that he was allowed to attack with the ball out top and the basket area wide open. On this double ball screen, the entire lane is open, and he can use all his skills to get by the big man into the body of the help and the nice lefty finish after the contact for the and one. D'Antoni perfected the step-up screen where it looks like it's going to be an inside ball screen, so the defender steps up to hedge. Remember, this is how defenses operated back in 2012, and suddenly it becomes a flat screen. A simple crossover gets him right into a wide-open lane for the nifty dunk shot. The offense also counted for weak side help, and on this pick and roll, Lin demonstrates great control with his speed and handle, waiting for the corner to lift and take his man out of the way before delivering the ball perfectly for another dunk. The bottom line, in New York, the ball was in his hands, the offense moved lightning quick to find a shot, and it allowed Lin the freedom to create both for his own shot and others. And with so much space to operate, it enabled him to be the best version of himself. Someone who could get into the lane and finish well for a guard, dump off to the big man for an easy layup, pull up from mid-range for a non-balanced shot, or every once in a while, shoot a three-pointer to kinda sorta keep the defense honest. We'd never seen a player burst onto the scene in the middle of a season like this and lift a team that had been sapped of all its energy by the Carmelo Anthony trade a year earlier. And he sustained it for 35 games, proving it was absolutely no fluke what he was doing. This captured the imagination of the entire NBA world, and it no doubt rubbed Carmelo the wrong way, since there was an implication that Melo's absence and Lin's presence was what vaulted them to play a lot better. and the attention Lin was receiving didn't sit well with Melo. And things changed once Melo got back, the team started losing again, the offense lost its energy when Melo would break off plays to get his own shots, and D'Antoni quit after a 6-game losing streak, partly because he knew Melo wasn't going anywhere, and partly because he knew his offense really works. This brings us to Season 2, the Poison Pill. Daryl Morey of the Rockets got creative with an offer sheet for Jeremy Lin and Omer Asik, basically guaranteeing the Knicks wouldn't match, and Lin was primed to run a team that was just starting to embark on a new style of play designed to space the floor and shoot a lot of threes. But then, Oklahoma City shocked everyone by trading Harden to Houston, and things changed for Jeremy Lin rapidly. He went from the primary pick-and-roll ball handler to second fiddle, but he still had a very solid year for them. Harden ran the majority of pick-and-rolls, relegating Jeremy to the spot-up shooter role. He did improve his three-point shooting from a year ago, but it was still below average at 34%. Before the Rockets made their offense the James Harden show, they had Lin out there running very traditional shooting guard sets, like this pin down, but he just couldn't get consistent with his rhythm and release. But he made it work the best he could, patiently waiting in the corner while Harden isolated out top before flaring on the corner off the Asik screen. He got right by Dwight, to the rim, and a nice finish for the dunk. During this season, Harden often would isolate out top, but instead of creating his own shot, would wind the clock down and then screw his teammate by firing a pass to them with almost no time left on the shot clock. This happened often with Jeremy, and it made his shots almost impossible to make. With that little time left, there wasn't much he could do with the ball before being forced to heave a shot, and as a result, Lin's field goal percentage suffered accordingly. But Harden did set a lot more screens back then, plus he moved without the ball better, allowing Lin the nifty backdoor pass for the nice finish in the lane. Here's more of Lin rejecting the screen to catch the defense out of position, plus the full-speed off-foot layup before the rotation could block it. Lin could use Harden's gravity as the ball screener to get right into the lane and finish high and soft over the big man help. And it was striking to see Harden so willing to set ball screens for Lin as they flow back into a second one, allowing Lin to take the dreaded long two and just nail it. In Lin's first year in Houston, he posted very solid numbers, and it's not surprising his per 36 assists dropped, having to play alongside James Harden. In his second season, Dwight Howard was added, and it further dropped Lin's production. It was the lowest usage rate of his career, and he was now forced to stagnantly wait not only for Harden's ISOs, but Dwight Howard's in the post as well. But he still produced solidly and had his best season yet from behind the arc by taking more of them. But Patrick Beverley took the starting job from him, and in a salary dump, the Rockets traded Lin to the Lakers, who were coached back then by Byron Scott. This was the Lakers led by Kobe Bryant and Carlos Boozer, and some things they ran might be recognizable today, like this high post split with Kobe screening for Lin into the handoff, where he found an opening for three, where he shot the best of his career up till now. But the spacing was oftentimes comical for the offense, like this set designed for Lin to go to his left using the ball screen, but Boozer posts up right in front of him while Kobe is stuck in the strong side corner and Wes Johnson just being ignored in the weak side. There was nowhere for Lin to go. This set was a doozy, with Boozer and Ed Davis standing next to each other at the free throw line while Kobe set a non-screen. This allowed DeAndre Jordan to shadow at the low block and pick off this pass rather easily. But Lin made it work as well as he could without any space to work with. You've got Kobe and Wes Johnson in the mid-range on the left side forming a wall, so Lin couldn't penetrate. But he finds Jordan Hill open for the assist from the elbow. This time it's Kobe at the elbow just standing there, while Lin is trying to attack the middle off the Kobe screen. Ed Davis brings his man into lane 2, and no wonder Lin can't get anywhere. Kobe does the Harden thing where he holds the ball in place for a while and then gets it to a teammate with almost no time left on the clock. But again, Lin makes lemonade as he dashes to the basket to lay it in with the left. Remember back in New York when you'd see a completely open lane with Lin out top with the ball? Well, Kobe would camp out on the low block right in his way, and Lin almost forces it to work by using Bryant as a ball screener before getting baseline and finding Ed Davis open for the assist on the little jump hook. Every once in a long while, they'd get better spacing for Lin to attack off the high pick and roll, where he splits the defense nicely and shows us what a good finisher he's been his whole career with the contact, lefty hook, and one. But they also ran him off pin downs like a traditional two-guard, and while it wasn't his strong suit by any stretch, he could run this play and manufacture buckets, like this behind-the-head pass for another dime. He was able to play off Kobe a little bit, which is one reason he had one of his best seasons from behind the arc, as he had to wait patiently in the corner until the pass was delivered and he can get the wide-open shot off and in the hoop. And that was how the Jeremy Lin experience ended in Los Angeles. Having played alongside two of the more difficult stars in the NBA in Carmelo Anthony and Kobe Bryant, it's no wonder Jeremy Lin moved teams so often. And you might have that same desire to see other teams up close and personal. The best way to do this is by downloading the SeatGeek app on your phone to get tickets to any NBA game. They scour the internet for the absolute best prices for any event, ranging from sports to comedy to the theater. Just like I analyze whether Jeremy Lin took a good shot, SeatGeek grades the price of each ticket to let you know if you're getting a good deal. And best of all, I can save you $20 off your first purchase by using my code BBALL. When you think tickets, think SeatGeek. And when you think discount, think BBALL. Desperate to get away from the Kobe Bryant, Byron Scott situation, Jeremy made a curious decision to take a huge pay cut and reduced role to play alongside Kemba Walker. While his per 36 scoring was solid, his field goal percentage took a hit, and it wasn't hard to see why. The offense was much more deliberate and slow-paced, primarily because he played off the bench alongside Al Jefferson, a living dinosaur who was always looking to post up. This offense also struggled with spacing, allowing teams to collapse into the paint and making driving lanes very difficult for Lin. Jefferson's rolls to the rim after screening for Lin didn't seem to create openings for him, but on this play, he also missed two wide-open corner threes. The skip pass to a three is something he's never mastered. He did play alongside Kemba at times and spot up in the corners. Here's the kind of pass I was talking about. As Lin's man bumps to the roller, Kemba skips it to the corner for a good look and a swish. Again, alongside Kemba, he had to stay parked on the weak side and wait for the ball to get swung around to him. This is simply not his game, and while there were moments he could excel, over the course of his season, it's clear to me why his field goal percentage and assist numbers suffered. But he made the best of it, and when playing with Zeller, who would get above the three-point line to set the ball screen, he was able to reject the screen and get right to the hole before the defense could react. Head coach Steve Clifford would play Zeller and Spencer Hawes together with Lin, and even though Hawes shot a few threes, he wouldn't always space to the line, so look how clogged this is, and yet Lin still made it work as well as he could. Lin had an early termination clause in his Hornets contract, and rightfully decided the Hornets were a poor fit for him, which made me wonder why he chose them in the first place, knowing the offense didn't have space and the pace was relatively slow. He made a great decision to reunite with Kenny Atkinson in Brooklyn. Atkinson was an assistant with the Knicks during Linsanity, and without question, his offense would provide the kind of pace and space to allow Lin to thrive. And it was in Brooklyn where he was producing better numbers than he had anywhere. He was playing like a bona fide starting point guard in a league that was finally catching up to what D'Antoni had been running for a decade. Just look at how much space he has around the rim on this pick and roll. Even with the cutter getting in his way, he still uses superior speed to blow by the big man for the layup. Finally, his teammates were setting screens closer to half court to enable him to attack slower-footed big men, get to the hoop, and display his crafty finishing skills for easy shots. And he finally was able to play alongside his center, who was a threat from three-point land in Brook Lopez. This stretched the defense by allowing him to make easy reads to the roll man, and Trevor Booker was a frequent recipient of his accurate passes. By having Bojan Bogdanovic as a serious three-point threat in the left corner, it forces his man to go for Lin's head fake, and with so much space available because of the other two shooters, he can find a nifty bounce pass for another Booker dime. He averaged his most assists per minute ever, and it was all predicated on having shooters around the perimeter and the threat of his speed and finishing at the rim that opened up so many dimes for him. The Nets were the third fastest team in terms of time of possession that season, and he was still up to his old trickery of rejecting the ball screen, this time as a double ball screen out top, which allowed him an ultra-fast attack before the defense knew what hit them. And he achieved career highs in both three-point attempts and percentage, primarily because he became more comfortable shooting off the bounce in the pick and roll. Teams continually went under the screen to dare him to shoot, and he was more than happy to make them pay time and again. And there was no doubt in my mind he was on a trajectory to become a top 10 point guard in the league this way, as you could see the confidence growing by flourishing in a system designed for his talents. But this story isn't a fairy tale, folks. For the first time in his career, injuries became a real issue. A hamstring injury in the 5th game of the season lingered for a while, and he missed 16 games. They limited his minutes upon his return, and he was still very productive, but he re-injured the hamstring and was out for 2 months, and the Nets lost all but one of the games he missed. He played fine upon his return, and the Nets won some games, and he was primed to lead them to new heights starting in the 2017-18 season. But that's when disaster struck. The opening game of the season versus the Pacers was going well for him, if not for the Nets, when his seeming innocuous landing on a layup attempt soon proved catastrophic for him. He clearly knew this wasn't a minor bump or bruise, and the doctors confirmed the worst, out for the season with a ruptured patella. The Nets summarily gave up on him, trading him last summer to the Atlanta Hawks for basically nothing. And guess what? He was terrific for the Hawks. Under former Spurs assistant Lloyd Pierce, they also ran an offense geared to extreme space and opening up the basket area. With the double ball screen here, Lin has space to get his defender behind him, then take his time on balance to properly read the defense before rising up a little fade to hit the short jumper. They also like to run pistol action across the top of the floor, where the power forward hands off to Lin and the center sets the ball screen at full speed. It catches Vucevic too low, and he nails the easy pull-up from 15. Here's another progression of that same action that gets Lin right into the lane again, collapsing the defense for fear of Lin's finishing ability, then finding Alex Len for the easy flush. You can see how this action allows Lin to control the action and make the key decisions, plus using his body in the lane to keep CJ McCollum off and then aggressively step through for another strong finish. His knee problems seem to be a thing of the past. This space also served to allow Lin to make great passes out of the pick and roll as well. All 5 players are above the three-point line, and the slip of the first ball screener to the basket gets Lin a sweet alley-oop dime to Bazemore. Here's more Spurs action called Motion Strong, where Lin centers the pass, then stays on that side going to the corner. This allowed him to find some catch-and-shoot opportunities in the corner when his man helped one pass away. And finally, here's a spread pick and roll that may remind you of Chris Paul. Under control, on balance, has the defense right where he wants them, and finds the easy and wide open 12-footer. His role on the court was almost as important as it was off of it, since he served as a mentor to Trae Young as well. And as Trae really started figuring things out the second half of the season, it was time for the veteran to move on and help a team destined for a championship run. The Raptors picked him up for the stretch and had plenty of minutes available for him. It wasn't easy without much practice time for Lin to adapt and adjust to this team, and it showed in his shooting. The first 7 games saw him shoot a measly 30% from the floor, and it clearly rattled him as even easy shots he'd have made in his sleep wouldn't go down. They tried playing him alongside Kyle Lowry as a shooting guard, and we've seen his whole career this is a suboptimal use for him. Curling around screens into the lane at 6'3" without a huge vertical jump isn't the best look. Nor is attacking from the wing after a kickout, where again, he has to take some contact and elevate coming from the baseline. When he did get a traditional high pick and roll at the spread floor, we could see the same skill level that led to plenty of success in the past. But it was almost as if the basketball gods deemed these shots simply would not go in. He didn't turn it over a lot, but the ones he did indicated to me that he was simply struggling with not knowing his teammates well enough and being in sync, something that is very hard to achieve when arriving in Toronto so late in the season. He didn't give up though, and found ways to contribute. With Lowry out there dominating the ball, he found a nice alley through the lane to cut and make the layup. And he was able to display his pick and roll acumen with a subtle look away to Gasol before laying it in off the glass. Or this two-man game with Gasol at the elbow that found him with the familiar rejecting the ball screen to attack middle and finished nicely with the up and under. With Kawhi's load management, Lin didn't play much alongside him, and his overall effect on the team was definitely problematic. So, Nick Nurse had to bench him, and it certainly didn't hurt the team's overall performance through the playoffs. And here we are, halfway through the summer with no offers from NBA teams. It is sad, really, since there's plenty of evidence that Lin is more than a capable point guard in the NBA, so long as he's allowed to do what he's great at, the pick and roll. Most of the NBA has caught up to what D'Antoni was doing in New York when we had Linsanity. So it's safe to say if he can just get signed, he'd have plenty of space and pace to break down the defense and make the right play. It looks like his right knee is totally healed, and I know he worked hard to address mechanical issues that could have led to the injury. So what gives? Why is Lin stuck contemplating having to play in China or Europe when players like Corey Joseph, TJ McConnell, and Isaiah Thomas all found roster spots above the league minimum? It doesn't make sense Lin gets frozen out despite his struggles with the Raptors, but this may very well be it. The last image we have of Jeremy Lin in an NBA uniform. And at least it will be as a champion, something you can never take away from him. Sports fans, Coach Nick again, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then I've got a new online basketball membership where I share with you the best of what NBA teams are doing to help you be more successful on the court. Click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below to learn more. And don't forget to like and subscribe and let me know how you feel about today's video. Check your settings to make sure you get notified each time we drop a new one. After all, at Bballbreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?